You're on, Herman.
Good afternoon, Atlanta. Welcome to Veteran Today. You're listening to the new WCEG Network on WCEG Talk Radio. Watch us live on your smartphone or your smart TV. You can watch us on YouTube at WCEG Network. We are your worldwide community empowerment group. We are here to speak live in the community. You can like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. You can also follow us on Instagram at WCEG_Talk Radio and WCEG at WCEG Network. Our call-in number is 1-678-619-1402. I'm one of the co-hosts. My name is Herman Anderson.
And I'm Anthony Aiken.
And we're back again. This is a new year. We're in January, and we have some very important items that we would like to provide you information with.
That's absolutely right. That's so good to be back, and Happy New Year to everyone. And as my good friend and fraternity brother over there, Herman, stated, that we are enthused to be back to talk about some important issues to veterans, not only here in Atlanta, but around the world. And we'd like to start off today with a couple of top issues that are facing veterans, and one that I am very care about, and that we're talking about the VA's caregivers program, Herman, whereby this program under what they call the VA Mission Act was launched back in June of 2019. And for those out there that veterans that require the use of a caregiver, you know what I'm talking about. Caregivers work extremely hard to take care of us. Those veterans that have disabilities, me for instance, being legally blind with a lot of visual issues, I couldn't do it without my wife, who's my caregiver, and other family members to assist, because they are so important for us to exist, to deal with our new normal, and how we treat them and how the VA and everyone treats them should be top of the line.
Well, that's true. And one thing that's also important about the caregivers program, it's one of those programs that a lot of veterans and their family is not aware of. And we're here to make you aware of it, and also provide you some information on what you need to get started and to navigate the system.
Correct. With this caregivers program, for those that are out there that are receiving benefits from the VA disability system, there's another program called Aid in Attendance. Aid in Attendance, you need to go through and fill out the appropriate paperwork at your regional offices, and that's additional money that you can receive on and above what you receive for your disability. So if you want to take care of yourself and your family, go to your regional office, take a look at the VA Caregivers Act, but also take a look at the Aid and Attendance program and see if you qualify for benefits.
And also, in relation to that, I was helping someone recently, in what the person at the VA told the person and told me is that in order to navigate the system, you have the VA, you have your doctors, but you also need a social worker.
Absolutely.
So and that's one of the missing links that I found out. A lot of us apply for caregivers or aid and attendance, and we haven't included a social worker in the loop.
You know what?
And it's very important.
It's very, very important, because if you want to do the right thing, and the right thing is to take care of you and your family, you have to follow what we say in the military, the rules of engagement. You have to understand the rules, follow the rules, and if you don't understand the rules, get some clarification so you will understand the rules. And that's why you need to have a veteran service officer or organizations to assist you as you go through that maze, which we call the VA.
Well, that's lead right into it. If you don't understand the rules, or if you're just getting started, start off by going to information session that are held, and next step is select your VSO, and actually just don't select the VSO, have a conversation with the VSO that you're veteran service officer in an organization that you're comfortable dealing with.
Absolutely right. And I'm talking to you knuckleheads out there, Herman, and I know you knuckleheads, you're going to try and do it yourself. But I tell you, that VA bureaucratic system is a maze. You need to understand that maze, or to get someone to help you to go through that maze. Because if you don't, it can become an extremely frustrating scenario for you.
And another thing about that maze is it really, the service officers and the specialists that look at your claim, we'll call them experts, where they're experts or not. They look at hundreds of claim a week.
All the time.
So they, whether they are accurate or not, they're accustomed to looking at, they know what to look at in as it relates to a specific claim. So they will come up with the decision, what's the right decision or not.
Correct.
They will come up with the decision.
Correct.
Based on some logic, where if you do it individually, you just guess it.
Sure. And as we've stated on this radio show many times before, you veterans, just like Herman and I, represent a Social Security number. And as he indicated, there are many, many records and files that these individuals are looking at on a daily basis. And for those of you in the military, you know that the first letter of your last name and the last 4 letters of the Social Security number is how you're identified. Every time you call, they say, what's your last initial and last 4? So understanding that you are just part of a huge, huge, huge bundle of veterans that are trying to get, benefits. So you got to do it right. You got to make sure that your paperwork's right, that you're submitting things on time, you're going to your appointments, you're doing everything you need to do, so there are no, roadblocks in the road because you didn't follow a step.
And we're saying benefits, so it's more than one. Could be a disability benefit, could be a medical benefit, it could be benefits for your medication. So you really have quite a few benefits that you have earned as a veteran. So just don't focus on one of them.
You got to deal with it. So we just implore you. We want to implore you to do the right thing, but we also want to thank the caregivers out there. That's what our opening theme, and the things that they do, and to help you veterans with your new normal. We salute the caregivers all around the world, not just here in Atlanta, but everywhere, that are taking care of veterans, everywhere.
Exactly, and you have caregivers that are taking care of veterans with different issues, whether it's dealing with cancer or it's dealing with amputation or whatever. I mean, there are a lot of issues that veterans and their family are dealing with that require caregivers.
Exactly right. Matter of fact, I spoke with one not too long ago. He just had a leg amputated. Diabetes. And not only compounded diabetes, he was also having dialysis done. So he's compounded with some issues. But in giving him a call, my entire intent was to uplift him as much as possible. Even though I have my own disability issues and he's dealing with his new normal like I had to deal with my new normal, we want to make sure that we do everything possible to help a veteran to get out of that depressive state that could possibly lead to him or her trying to take their life.
Well, that led into suicide prevention. We just discussed that briefly, then we'll go back. But person that works at Georgia Department of Veteran Services, Vita Woods, is working for the Georgia Department of Services. They have a special program to prevent suicide prevention.
Correct.
and she made a presentation, and like you said, the one point she made, just call a veteran, just call someone,
call them, call her, and talk to them,
ask them how you doing. And later on, we also give out the crisis line.
That is so important, because not only are veterans dealing with, cancer, PTSD, diabetes, sexual harassment, sexual abuse, traumatic brain injury. Right now, we got over 100 plus military personnel with the latest attack that President Trump ordered, when he indicated on national TV that there were no injuries. And weeks later, now we find out there's more than 100.
Well, you also have financial issues. I had a veteran tell me, he was doing fine until he had a financial issue, and that triggered PTSD, going through complete change of lifestyle as far as living conditions and all of that. That's a crisis also. So
you got those issues of PTSD, suicide prevention, all that kind of stuff going on. But then you also got veterans with other mental health issues associated with being in a combat zone or combat service support zone. And as a result of that, there also can be a risk to disease and stroke because of those mental issues. So there's so many things tied up into this. That's why we need to make sure that we do as much as possible for veterans. We still implore Congress, we still implore the VA, the leadership, to make that a number one priority, because veterans work hard, serve hard, because freedom is not free.
Well, that's not free. That's true, and it's also important that we encourage veterans to get in the system. There are veterans that make a personal decision not to get in the VA system, and if you do that, you're really not getting benefits and compensation that you have earned. There might be a situation where you're okay without it, but there are situations where it will definitely change your lifestyle.
You remember, maybe a couple of years ago, we were talking about this, and we had a guest on, and he indicated that some veterans would say, "Hey, man, I don't need it. Some other veterans need it more than I do." Wait a minute, hold up. You earned the right because of your service. And that was a blank check that was given to you saying that you serve, we'll take care of you. So if you have some issues, I'm talking to all those knuckleheads out there that believe that you earned the right to go and get your claims or your disability. You served. And if you've had an injury or something on active duty, it's service related.
Yeah.
Don't let that go. Don't let it go, because whatever happens to you, and let's say, for instance, you receive a 100% disability claim, total and permanent. Do you realize what that means? That's like getting a check every month that no one knows about. It's tax free. Could be as much as $4,000 a month. So you do the math. That's tax-free money that you've earned. So, it's something that your family deserves because you served.
Well, that's true. And we're going to try to stay on target, but one thing leads to another one. Mm-hmm. And like you say, there are, for example, you take us Vietnam veterans. That is the Agent Orange database.
Tell me about it.
That a lot of Vietnam veterans are not even in the system. And as long as it been, I had a Vietnam veteran last night that was not in the system, had no idea that it exists. And we run across them every day.
Man, I tell you what, everything happens for a reason. That's what we believe. And, we talked about Agent Orange to the nth degree to try and get veterans to go and get themselves in the Agent Orange database. That was the number one step. But recently, as of 1 January 2020, and we talked about this 2 weeks ago, and I think it's important for us to talk about it again, is the Blue Water Navy claims associated with Navy personnel that were in Vietnam. And even though they were offshore, there's a presumption that those veterans were exposed to Agent Orange. And we're talking about up to 400,000 veterans, that were involved with these inland waterways, brown water veterans, anything like that. But in October of 2019, the VA sent out letters to 77,000 veterans who would claim for Agent Orange related conditions that they were previously denied and may now be eligible for benefits. So it's a presumption. You served in Vietnam, you were in the Navy, you served on a ship, or you were in Thailand, Korea, some of those areas where you were storing and disposing, that you could possibly be eligible for claims associated with Agent Orange.
Well, that's a great possibility, and also some people may be suffering from some of the diseases that are caused by Agent Orange and not being compensated for it, and not even know that the possibility that they have that disease is because they were exposed to Agent Orange. And so so we just have to keep putting the information out there and keep asking people to take it in.
Right, so there's a claim form. It's a VA Form 21-526EZ. VA Form 21-526EZ, which is the initial claim form for you to deal with Agent Orange related illnesses and diseases. And because of these presumptions, those illnesses that we talked about, diabetes, prostate cancer, pancreatic cancer, those kind of things, you need to be able to go in and file those claims. Get it started so you can get yourself in the system in the Agent Orange database and to see if you can receive benefits for that exposure.
That's true. Let me remind you, you're listening to the new WCEG Network. We are WCEG Talk Radio. You can watch us on your smart TV. You can listen to us by going to WCEGnetwork.com. We are the Worldwide Community Empowerment Group. We speak live in the community. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. And on Instagram, it's WCEG_talk_radio. Call in and join the conversation at 678-619-1402.
Excellent information, and please pass the word. I know before I left home today, I went on my Facebook page, Herman, and I sent it out to all the friends of my network. So we need you to do the same thing, folks. Like us on Facebook, go to YouTube, check us out on some past shows, and spread the word. We have a great team here at the WCEG Network, led by our Madam Kahuna, Miss Rogers, and a great engineer doing things for us here, Oliver. So, we need you to be part of the WCEG Network family and support us and let folks know around the world that Veterans Today and all the other shows under the WCEG Network family, you just spread the word. Let's spread the word.
We're here to empower the community, provide information that once you get the information, you are able to go out and make some decisions, hopefully, that will lead to a better life.
What I've been hearing is that, I get calls, texts, emails, etc. from folks saying that the things that we hear on your show have been so helpful. It has motivated me or my family to go and do the next step. That's to file a claim. But we need someone to push us, and you guys have pushed us. So we appreciate those feedbacks. Go on Facebook, like our page, spread the word, because we're here to tell the truth.
Yeah, I get the same feedback, and I definitely appreciate it. We're doing what we say we're doing. We're helping the community, and we're providing information And one thing, your church started, is the information center.
Correct.
That's very good in the community. So sometimes that's the starting point to get somebody headed down that road.
You get them in the right direction, because I've talked to many veterans. Some have been retired 20, 25 years.
Yeah.
And never even thought about going into the VA system. And now they're dealing with health issues, prostate cancer and all kinds of things. And hey, I think it's cognizant upon yourself to try and go and get it done and checked out. You know what I mean? My experiences, just me, Herman, have been extremely positive with the VA. And it's been very positive because my goal is to keep them accountable. I mean, I know I'm one of many, I'm one of thousands, but even with that being the case, I want to make sure that when I walk through those doors to see any one of the healthcare providers that the VA has, for me and my situation, my health situations, that they're going to give me attention and they're going to give me the very, very best service that they have. If they don't, then there are rules, there are routes that you can go through to the patient advocate's office or whatever to make sure that you're taken care of. Because again, you served and you received an honorable discharge. There should be no questions about your treatment. None.
Well, that is true. And one thing that I point out to people also, you may have, no, I was in there 4 years, so I'm not a retired, but I have benefits. But so you may have benefits from another organization, or you may be on Medicare, but sometimes you need to put all these packages together.
Put it together
to really get what you deserve, get what you have earned.
You've earned it. This wasn't given to you. You earned it. My 26 years, I was just trying to figure out how many times have I put on my combat boots? You know what I mean? I wore my uniform. BDUs, combat boots, in the field, running around, in helicopters, flying around in planes, doing all this stuff. Cold environment, warm environment, wet environments. It's no joke.
It's no joke.
I went through the ROTC program. It was mandatory. I did it and got into the system. And once I got into the system, enjoyed what I was doing because I saw a purpose, and that was protecting our borders and keeping people free. And I was standing on the shoulders of others before me, which kind of leads me into something next that is very, very important.
Black history.
Black history. See how these Omega men think alike? Black history. Because like many of you out there, you've had aunts, uncles, cousins, sisters, brothers, nieces, nephews, cousins that have served. Now it's your turn. So you go in there and you serve the best that you can, doing everything that you can to keep our borders free. And there's so many historians that have pointed out black individuals and other individuals who have done tremendous things to keep our borders free. One, Dorian Miller. He was a cook on a ship, Pearl Harbor, December 7th, 1944. What did he do? Come out of there and manted a machine gun and wreaked havoc on the Japanese. And we're talking about a cook.
Yeah.
He came out. Heroism came out of him. And we can go on to many others. Joel Lawrence, a specialist. The clinic at Fort McPherson is named after him. Medal of Honor winner. Lost his life in campaign in Vietnam. You know what I mean? So there's so many. Even my cousin, Lieutenant General retired Henry Doctor, first African American IG Corps commander to the U.S. Army. There's just so many. Chappie James. As a matter of fact, there's something, Herman, that's coming up on the 5th of March that's very significant. In Montgomery, Alabama, on the 5th of March, at the Alabama Legislative House, there's going to be a bill signed naming March 7th as Tuskegee Airmen Day forever.
That is super.
That's unbelievable.
Congratulations.
You know, so my queen Brenda and I, and we're going to go down there. We're going to go to that signing. And then on the 7th of March at the Tuskegee Morton Field, they're going to have a ceremony. But this is the biggie, Herman. Do you remember Colonel Chuck McGee?
I sure do.
Who's now Brigadier General Chuck McGee? On the 4th of February of 2020, President Trump promoted him to Brigadier General, something that was long overdue. Well, he will be there. He's 100 years old now. So he's coming from Virginia, Maryland area, down to the Tuskegee Airfield where he trained as a Tuskegee Airman to commemorate the Tuskegee Airmen Day at the site where Tuskegee Airmen were trained.
That is super.
That is super. I'm geeked to be able to go there because I can remember as a student back at Tuskegee Institute where I met the individual that really started all of this, Chief Anderson. In 1940s, Chief Anderson, being one of the instructor pilots down at Tuskegee Morton Field, flew President Roosevelt's wife in an airplane, which was supposed to have been no more than a 15 to 30-minute flight. But because he was so good, it ended up being over an hour flight. And she went back to Washington to her husband, then President Delano Roosevelt, and said, you know what? Those men can fly. The birth of the Tuskegee Airmen.
Super.
So I'm geeked, and I'm looking forward to meeting Brigadier General Charles Chuck McGee and all the others down there at the historic Tuskegee Morton Field on the 7th of March to commemorate Tuskegee Airmen Day in the state of Alabama.
Right. You know, Black History Month should be every month.
Every month.
But there are, we can name hundreds of events and persons that have contributed to America being what it is.
You know, as a young lieutenant in the Army and young captain, I can remember being like a kid in a candy store, meeting some of these legendary men like Julius Beckton, General Beckton, you know, 3 stars, Lieutenant General, down in Stuttgart, Germany. Major General Charles Rogers, Medal of Honor winner in Frankfurt, Germany, as a Lieutenant Colonel, Armor Officer, winning a Medal of Honor in Vietnam. I mean, the list just goes on. Roscoe Robinson, had the opportunity to meet with him. General Chuck Harrell, Ernie Harrell, Engineer Corps. All of these men that, through trials and tribulations, especially during the time where there were some segregated acts in the military, was able to overcome those situations to become iconic, history-making individuals in our military. So wherever you are in the United States, never forget those shoulders that you or your family members stood on as we salute them during this Black History Month, February 2020.
And as we do that, we encourage you to participate in events and also education-wise, educate yourself about history and events and people that contributed to make this happen. Because the saying is, if you don't know your history, it will repeat itself.
Man, I tell you.
So we need to make sure we know our history,
yeah,
and don't go back and do the same thing.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that when individuals came back from Vietnam, there was so many non-patriotic acts towards them. That was a tough time. But now, being in the military, it's a revered position, because individuals understand the importance of having an effective combat force around the world. And guess what, listeners? We're retired military, and we don't know where half our troops are now. They're all over the world. There are places that we, can't imagine. They're there to protect, to defend, and to help out.
Yeah.
So let's salute a veteran even more now than ever before. And again, as we said, we're in Black History Month. Let's salute those veterans who are people of color.
We've been doing this show so long, we think a lot.
Yeah.
I had a guest on this show when you were out here, and they just let me read a couple of paragraphs about it.
Mm-hmm.
Johnny Crawford is a visual storyteller and educator from Jackson, Georgia, who documented the human spirit in 45 states for 4 continents for 37 years. He's the founder of Vietnam Black Soldiers Patriot Project. The mission of the project is to educate present and future Americans about the black soldier in their community that served, suffered, and died fighting for civil rights for the people in South Vietnam. And even though they did not have the same right themselves, the Vietnam War Black Soldier Project goal is to produce portraits of black Vietnam veterans from 18 states, Washington, D.C. The portrait will represent a visual history of 275,000 black men and women who have served in combat supply services and branches of the United States military. And he has an exhibit in Austell in the courthouse. He also has an exhibit in Riverdale, and he has an exhibit in the museum in Aiken.
That's really good, man. So, you know, we're talking about Black History Month, but there are also other people of color that have done so many great things serving this nation. And when you take a look at the racial breakdown of ethnicity groups in the military, it's all over the place. You know, it's like a mirage of color. You know, but everyone has the purpose of keeping our borders free. Doesn't matter if you're black, Hispanic, whatever. You know.
I think that's what the way the military is structured, that's what you learn. You have a vision, mission, and goal, a priority, and everybody, regardless of race, creed, or color, is focused on that, not other issues.
Well, today there's like 1 in 5 soldiers are black compared to 27% in 1985 and 1995, according to the Army figures. And then for the Hispanics, they comprise of 18% of the enlisted Marines today, and about 15% when the Iraq War began. So you can see there's significant numbers of individuals that are out there defending our nation and doing what they need to do. And as you know, coming into the military is not easy.
No, it's not easy.
It's not an easy thing. You're talking about a total rechange to become a cohort. And then I mean a cohesive unit of working together as a team. So everything that you learned before, running in the streets, running around, doing all these kind of things, when you get in, forget that. You know, you're talking about getting some triple S's in the morning and doing pull-ups before you eat.
Well, that's true. And also, when the United States did away with the draft, that really changed the way the military personnel is selected. It's pretty much an all volunteer situation. So you have people that have the desire, they have the capability maybe not to want to serve in the military.
Well, I tell you what, you know, we got all these branches. Now, I'm an Army guy. I'm boots on the ground. Herman, Air Force, flying around in the sky. But we're talking about the Marine Corps, the Air Force, the Navy, the Coast Guard, and the Army. Those 5 branches keep us safe.
That's right.
Keep us safe. And these branches want to be the very best they can be. So, You know, when you have a young soldier, a young airman, a young Coast Guard person, male, female, doesn't matter, go in, there are millions of dollars provided for training. Which leads me into my next area, Herman, that something we always talked about, is when that person gets out and they're looking for employment, it's important for them to have a copy of their DD Form 214. I'm still running into veterans that don't have it. They can't find it. They don't know what to do to get it. But I tell you, that one piece of paper is so vital. Herman knows I keep a copy of it on my phone.
A lot of people do.
I keep a copy all the time because that piece of paper will help you and your family, not only for employment, for, getting home, all kinds of things. It's almost like a reference point for you to do what you need to do to be successful once you get out of the military. So that DD Form 214, if you don't have it, knuckleheads, make sure you try and get it. There's certain ways you can get it done, Herman.
Yeah, there are several ways you can get it done. And one way to get it done is through your State Department of Veteran Services.
That's absolutely right.
For example, the Georgia Department of Veteran Services has offices throughout the state. And the office near the state capitol number is 404-656-5940. 404-656-5940. But you can go to any state office and request a copy of it. There are offices in Savannah, Rome, Cartersville. There are 13 in Metro Atlanta. In most states, including states like North Carolina, South Carolina, have service officers. And if that doesn't work, then another option is to go to the National Archives. And that number is 314-801-0800. 314-801-0800. So those are two ways. Another way would be go to va.gov and request it online.
Absolutely. Again, folks, please find a copy of that DD Form 214. We get calls all the time. What do I do? How can I get it? Herman just told you that. How you can get a copy of it. And make sure that everyone in your family knows where it is. So when the time does come, and it will come, they'll have it to take care of you and your family members with just that one piece of paper. That one piece of paper. That DD Form 214.
And let's just briefly, while we're talking about the 214, also mention if you have less than an honorable discharge, there are processes to appeal that. And so if you are in a situation where you were discharged with less than honorable condition, whatever your separation papers say, there are processes to apply to get that upgraded.
You know what? And keep in mind, everything is not going to be fast. It's a process. Once you complete the correct documents, the forms you submit to your regional office or wherever they're telling you to do it, be diligent. Just don't submit it and sit back, have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich with a glass of milk and think everything's going to be good. No. You need to follow up on it consistently and trace it. Trace it. Make sure that you understand the rules of engagement to try and get that discharge increased or changed. Because I tell you what, those two words, honorable discharge, woo!
Makes a big difference.
I'm telling you, it makes a huge difference. So, knuckleheads, please follow through, do what you need to do, take care of yourself, and always take care of your family. We strongly encourage you to do everything for you and your family. Bottom line.
And let's talk about, no, there's a lot of claims in the system.
Correct.
And there's issues with the system.
Oh, man.
So let's just mention that if you put a claim in, and like Anthony just said, it's going to take some time. So you have to be prepared to deal with that.
You know what? Even though we're in 2020, we can go on back to when President Obama was in office, and it came to light then about all of the issues dealing with claims in the VA system. As you recall, out at the Phoenix VA, which was sort of like the what they call a ground zero of finding the problems. And we found out that the VA in Baltimore had 800,000 claims in a closet, or San Francisco, or some other place. There's cost overruns, all kinds of things that were going on. But with this VA disability legacy claim appeal process, which is new now as of February 2019, it's called the Appeals Modernization Act, AMA, where they still have a majority of appeals and claims pending that are old. So you need to follow through again, get the support of a VSO, a Veteran Service Officer, an organization behind you, so you can fight it, because the goal is to get your benefits approved. That's the goal.
That's the goal, and there are some veterans out there where they had a fire in St. Louis sometime back.
Oh yeah.
And you might be told your record was burned.
Going. I have a cousin that same thing. So the Korean War, all records in St. Louis burned up. What do I do? Well, you got medical records that you've been seen all of these years. Compile those records, because your military records are gone, but the VA system can see that you've been treated or being seen for this condition. That could be very helpful for you when you're filing for your disability claim.
That's what you have to do. You have to use all of your resources. And also in the process, if you have issues with your records, there's Morocco Coleman mentioned when he was with us. You can look up someone that was in your unit and ask them to write a buddy letter.
Yeah, write a buddy letter. That's true. And as a matter of fact, I know of one gentleman who is a Tuskegee Airman, and he lives out in the state of Arizona right now. And he indicated, it's really interesting, how he was a Tuskegee Airman, started as a mechanic, and eventually moved on to become a pilot. Well, a lot of his records were gone, but he kept one particular document, and that was his flight book that was signed by Chief Anderson. As a result of that, he was able to verify, and not only was he a Tuskegee Airman, but he is also eligible for claims through the VA system. Small things, but it's real. They're very real. So, documentation is key, and you just need to do the right things, man. Just do the right things, and everything will work out for you. The road's not going to be easy. The road wasn't easy when you're in the military. I know it wasn't for me, but I had to fight through it. Fight through it. And not quit, because I saw the objective of my family, my wife and my 2 children. That's what I saw.
Well, particularly when you start dealing with, let's say the disability process. The medical process, you having pain or medical issues, so you gonna go to the doctor. But if you file a claim, and like one of my guys says, the letter come in, the first thing you read is it's denied.
Denied.
And you don't read the rest of it. And you just put it aside and you won't even look at it for months.
Yeah.
That's just wasting time.
That's wasting time, man. You know, and even with the denial letter from the VA, they always explain why you're denied.
Exactly.
So once you get it and you read it thoroughly along with your VSO or your family members, whatever, then you can come up with your response. Just because you received a denial letter, that's not the end of it. You're always given the opportunity to present additional information, additional evidence, or you can ask questions, why? Why is this when you have such? So you need to be diligent. You need to make sure that you have your ducks in order, your paperwork, and follow through.
And one thing in navigating the claim process is that when you get it, and we also discussed this with Marco, is you might get partial information.
Correct.
If you're told that you're getting 60 or 70% disability, but what they don't tell you, you have other options.
You got total other options, man. You got it.
So you got the be, as Andy said, you got the be complete. You got to close the deal.
It's sort of like you're playing ball when you were a kid, on a football team, a basketball team. You know that toughness? That's what I'm talking about. You got to be tough. It's not going to be easy, but you have enough intestinal fortitude, enough strength and belief in yourself, and again, the objective being your family, to do what you got to do, man. You got to do what you got to do. You know, and receive the benefits, again, that you earned.
And that can help you, help your family, help the community. Empower the community. That's what we say here on WCEG Talk Radio.
I'm telling you, man, Madam Kahuna, I mean, this 6 years now. You know, we've been dealing with this, and the feedback that we're getting and the things that we're talking about is far-reaching throughout the United States and the world in regards to benefits and information of importance to veterans. So, again, please give us a call if you have questions, and we'll address them for you. What's that number, Herman?
The number is 678-619-1402, and we are worldwide because we get feedback
all the time
overseas in different countries, and we appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. So, again, we appreciate you listening. We appreciate you doing everything that you do, and keep WCEG Talk Radio Network on the top of your list.